Well, hello there, and thank you for joining me for this ministry moment. It seems to be fairly popular right now, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate those who take the time to listen, and that spurs me on to try to make these things just a little bit better. And I could use all the help I can get, so I pray, Lord, help me. But anyway, glad that you could join us. And I want to lift up to you just a moment the ministries here at Connellsville, the Christian Church of Connellsville. I just want to remind you that not only these ministry moments are live streamed, and of course they can be listened to at any time, but also we live stream our worship services. And that's a help for a lot of people who can't make it, or some people who say they can't, but we don't think that. You can go back on our website and pick the date and get the message. So in any case, I hope to see you next week, and also hope to see you on Sunday at 10:45, same place you're listening to this now. And let me also remind you that if you like to navigate YouTube, and I do, then we also appear there. So we'll be reminding you about where in any day now. Our Friday updates will be listing that. Anyway, what I want to do is talk a little bit about what it means to put others before ourselves. Jesus told us a couple of things about that. He said the second greatest, which only means he said it second and not first, the second greatest commandment is to love others more than yourself. And he also said what we now call the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have others do to you. But I'd like to tell you a story that delves into another part of that. And it's funny, and it's funny because my brother and I used to do this. It's about a certain mom who had two boys, both young, and she was preparing pancakes for them one morning. And I guess I'm just a big kid at heart. My wife and I have pancakes every Saturday morning, and it's something to look forward to. But anyway, their names were Kevin and Ryan, and they came running in, jumping out of bed, when they smelled the delicious pancakes cooking. And they'd come to the table and they would begin to argue, who is it that would get the first pancake? You know, oh, I'm going to get the first one. No, I'm going to get the first one. Da, 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 da. You know how kids can be, and adults too, in a slightly different way. So Mom turned to them this one particular day, and she told the boys, if Jesus was sitting here, what would he say? I think he would probably say something like, let my brother have the first pancake. I can wait. Well, Kevin, the oldest, turned to his younger brother and he said, Ryan, why don't you take the first chance at being Jesus? Unspoken, so you can give me your pancake first. Well, the mom was trying to teach Jesus instruction on loving your neighbor, who in that particular case included the sibling. But unfortunately, they didn't quite get the point. Well, Many times we adults don't get the point too. Too often we think of ourselves before we think of the needs of others. I think you could even boil that down to the level of humility. For really, the person who is humble thinks about the needs of others before his or her own. I found this in a writing not too long ago, and it said some pretty insightful things. Humility is the quality of seeing yourself truthfully, not pretending you are something less than you are, and not acting as though you are more than you are. Humility is not weakness. It is strength under control. A humble person can admit, I was wrong. A humble person can say, I need help. A humble person can celebrate that someone else is better than they are without feeling small. A humble person can receive correction without being crushed by it. And a humble person can serve without needing applause. And of course, for the believer, a humble person looks a lot like Jesus, who was the absolute model of humility. So I'd like to challenge you this week to think about your life and think about how you could be humble, walking in Jesus' footsteps, and you might be surprised how we tend to grow in our discipleship as we act more humble and more like Jesus. I hope you have a blessed day and a blessed weekend. I'll see you Sunday and also next Thursday.